becomes relevant when the masses get used to whatever it is that they've been fed. That becomes boring, and then it kind of opens up the way, because in my experience, my parents came to London in the 50s, and they were black, Nigerian, dark-skinned, and they were not accepted, so their stories are exactly like yours. It was awful. Travis, your experience about experiencing violence, that's what my mum and dad went through because of their skin colour. Very visible, they couldn't blend into the background. So now it's 2016 and I can walk wherever I want as a dark-skinned black woman, and it's okay. I might get looks, it might be, go up north and it might be difficult, but essentially you guys are telling a story which I like to believe that in another 10 years or so, that the masses will be absolutely accepting of everything that you're saying, and you can walk freely, and you can feel, you can be.
So students who are coming into the university and identify as trans in any way, our job is to try and work with them and make sure that the university is a more inclusive place. And a couple of years ago, one of our students said that the first time she came to UAL, she was just looking for a sign that said the trans students are welcome. And I'm just wondering from the panel, what would be the one thing a couple of things maybe that you would say to universities to do to make sure that they're more inclusive spaces for trans students?
So I've just left my students' union. I was just saying to Essay, this is just funny timing. I've just left my I've been with my students' union actively campaigning and working for 2 years over a spat with my diversity team. So this is funny. And the main reason is my point is just hire us. The thing that was getting so upsetting for me is that my diversity team were all white. My diversity team, there was no trans people. My diversity team that was talking about all this, I don't want diversity, I want liberation, or just to walk through the hallways about that shit. So really I have nice responses that may help that are fluffy that I can give you as well and email you, and that's what I've been doing with them for 2 years. But really the mood, it's just funny that you said that after my spat with the diversity team. My real thing is just hire a trans person. They're the people that will be able to make trans people feel welcome. Find them, and if that means giving up some people's jobs, or hey, creating new jobs, because unis have money, right? These institutions CSM is rich as fuck. Get some trans people working, because there's trans people looking for jobs that would do the job so much better.
I mean, I don't believe in.
That didn't need to come off
I don't believe in policy or an inclusion process, to be honest. I think scrap inclusion. I think policy is about making things look a certain way, and it's not actually making change. So I would say that not include us, we have to be at the forefront and at the centre of everything. So if we're included, we're still in that system where we're just being considered and we're not actually part of it. We're not trying to say we're not the system.
So glad this is being recorded. I'm an academic, as I've said already, and where I did do my PhD was in the States, in fairness, but not really, because the university space is really in the West is a monolith in terms of the processes of policy making and pretenses of inclusion, and I think. Yeah, look, what Travis said is really real, on all the fronts, and Roger as well. But just thinking of my own experiences, being at the heads of student government, because they did that, right? They put me at the front. I was the main officer. It was called the solidarity officer, so they wouldn't have diversity, because we didn't want to have the same make everything equal, because I don't want equality. I want equity and liberation. But then it came to the point that people were how do we make things, they still use the word diverse, right, because that's still the intention. How do we make this thing more diverse? How do we get equality? We're all for equality in California, hippies, tie-dye, etc. And then it became down to like me doing the work, right? Because I'm at the head of the table, right? So I'm the one that's doing it. I was doing a PhD, right? So I have like, and I'm just like trying to build my art, trying to like hone my craft for my communities, etc. I'm also an activist. Like I was trying to do all of these things, and it came to the point that affective labor, time, which is a resource, it became like a deficit and a detriment to my like emotional well-being, my intellectual well-being, my academic process, and then it became one of those statistics about people of color, queer, gender non-conforming people not finishing in normative time, not like living up to the standards and like doing the actual work. So while I this is not a disagreement with what Travis is saying, it's actually agreeing specifically, because if people like Travis were like not edged out of office or of a certain space, so if we were like centered and then people recognize, like regardless of like creating more jobs or like whatever capitalist thing, but just recognizing, again, it's not about you. And if you actually really believe in whatever like neoliberal ideas that you have behind diversity and inclusion, that also means you saying, yes, you like cutie pot, queer, black, trans, migrant, refugee person who's in this space, this is your job. What can I do to help you? Like, what time can I offer you? Like, you're getting paid a livable and sustainable wage. What of my resources can I put behind you? Like, I want, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like a bit of a rant, but I want like the support of UAL, which is not even just you individually, like the support of the institution, which has, yes, a lot of the money, but a lot of resources. Like they can make things easier. Like to have the full weight, because then a student would come to you, and even if it's not in the like trans asterisk or no asterisk are welcome here. I think that sometimes when I see that, like at my university it was like a little rainbow triangle sign, and it's
okay, we can try it again. I was currently studying an MA in fashion architecture, and I wrote my proposal last January, and it's all about breaking down barriers of gender and how to create discussion around gender inequalities. So when I started doing my research, I started posting things online, and like I have family and friends online. I got an amazing amount of abuse from like family and friends saying like, oh, you're a feminist now, like what does this mean? Are you like going against your own gender? And I've experienced gender inequalities in my life. Like I've travelled alone, and that's come as really shocking to people. Oh, you're a girl, you can't travel alone. And like I'm into fitness and boot camps, and I do that with guys, and they're like, you're a girl, you can't do as well. So what I'm trying to do is create a collection from my degree of artifact objects that